I hope you are all safe and well. I'm Carly Babi, and today I'm going to be talking to you about some estate planning and some investment tips that can give you some peace of mind in a COVID-19 economy. Last week I talked a little bit about estate planning and what important minimal documents you should have and be prepared for in an emergency. But I'll start off by giving our daily statistics. As of yesterday, when they post them at 3 p.m., we had 29,263 cases in Michigan and 2,093 deaths. You know, it wasn't long ago that most of us were feeling pretty good about our economy, our job security, and our health. But this virus has brought a new perspective to a lot of our lives, as well as a considerable amount of alone time. Alone time where we're able to reflect and realize that public health and our economy are twofold. Other than estate planning, I'm also going to be offering some information about your 2019 taxes and about some investment decisions that you might want to make today. You know, it's an incredibly difficult time, and it's always difficult to prepare for the unthinkable. You know, but we all know that the reality is that our life expectancy is finite. And eventually, we're all going to be facing a time in our life during which we can't make certain healthcare decisions or financial decisions on our own, regardless of COVID-19. But this topic really hits close to home. You know, especially when you're living your life. I mean, we never thought any of this would happen. And, you know, a situation happens, and at least in my family, where some unexpected deaths have occurred and have left us pondering and wondering, you know, what is our next step? What do we need to do? What's we need to get information. So the estate planning aspect is not for us, it's for our family members. So they'll be able to be protected and well prepared to handle decisions for you, should you find yourself in a position where you're unable to. Your preparation should start, by a simple overview of your financial contingency plans. I really like this website. It's called mint.com. It's actually QuickBooks. It's the same owner of QuickBooks, and it's for your own personal finances. You can put in your bank accounts, your credit cards, everything that you have, your assets, your debts can all be automatically organized in one place. I think that's a really good place to start. But there's one common misconception that I wanted to clear. I've gotten a lot of calls recently about, what it means to have an estate. Everyone has an estate. So even if you don't have these estate planning documents, that doesn't mean you don't have an estate. An estate is simply a term for one's physical holdings in the world. And while you're living, you yourself easily manages your estate on your own. You sign contracts, you fill out information at banks, whether it has to do with like a brokerage account or for example, an insurance plan or life insurance. You fill out who your beneficiaries are. I mean, you fill out all this information. But what about our property that we have? If you have, money is just sitting in a bank, you've never, put who your beneficiaries are, or you own other types of property that alone, and you don't have anyone else on that property. So what happens? And that is exactly what many of us don't think about. Someone is going to have to take over the management of your estate, or at least until all of your property is transferred to whoever has the right to receive it. This also includes making decisions on our health care and other financial matters. And this is really for family members. So they'll have, or other, people that you want to be involved in those decisions when you're unable to. So these people, will have the power and the guidance to carry out those important health and financial related decisions on your behalf. Last week I spoke about estate planning documents that are the most important at a minimum, which include a will, sometimes a trust, a durable power of attorney for financial matters, a health care power of attorney, and an advanced medical directive. These documents give us peace of mind, knowing that if an unexpected, unfortunate situation were to occur, that our family members have that guidance and they're going to know what to do. And they're not going to have to go through a public process in the probate court, which is a complete mess right now. I'll talk about a client that I had. I never met this client, but after this person passed away, his family member came to me. He had no spouse. He had no kids. But he had a life insurance policy. He had an IRA. He had a 401k. And he had never listed any beneficiaries on anything. And there were 8 siblings. And none of those siblings talked to each other. So needless to say, instead of his favorite brother, getting most of or everything that he had, all of his assets had to be split 8 different ways legally. And, money was going to some of his brothers that abandoned him and, didn't talk to him anymore. So that's why it's important that to have these documents. It's really to protect your family in the future. I recognize that this is a time of great stress for our communities and our country and the world. And I respectfully acknowledge that this distress that the coronavirus has caused all of us. And at the same time that I believe that focusing on matters that we can control, such as updating our estate planning documents and even taking advantage of these present economic opportunities, if you're able to, can provide some relief from the concerns that we all have. While staying healthy is the front seat right now, I have in the past, week or two, have really felt the emotional, physical, and financial toll on families, friends, coworkers, and our healthcare providers, who we thank every single day that are still out there in the trenches fighting for us and fighting really, really hard. I happen to have several family members on the COVID floors, and they don't even want to talk to us about it because it is so difficult. But while it's we're in this difficult time, and it is difficult to resolve most of these issues. I firmly believe that we have the ability at this time to take back some control financially. And here are some of the opportunities that exist today. Number one, there's an extent, as we all know, I don't know if the word has spread, everywhere, but there's an extension of our federal income tax filings from April 15th to July 15th. I'm sorry, and that was done back in March. So the deferment applies to all taxpayers. So whether it includes individuals, trusts and estates, corporations, other non-corporate tax filers, and anyone who pays self-employment tax. So this also includes estimated income tax payments for the year 2020 that were originally due on April 15th, 2020. Oh, we have a question. Hi, Anne. Thank you for your question. I will try to answer that. I'll message you directly, and I'll try to answer that for you. Back to our tax filing relief. This relief is automatic. You don't have to do anything. And anyone that qualifies for an extension beyond the July 15th deadline, you still have to file that form. It's that extension form. But if you do have your taxes prepared, get them filed, and especially if you usually have a refund coming to you, those are still being issued within 21 days. This relief also impacts the deadlines for contributions to IRAs and HSA accounts. Another benefit that we're having right now is the extension of federal gift and GST tax filing and payment deadlines to July 15th. So the Treasury Department and the IRS recently expanded COVID-19 tax relief to include gift taxes. And the due date for filing these forms has been automatically postponed to July 15th, 2020 as well. Again, just like the federal tax filings, this relief is automatic. You don't have to file any form, nothing like that. But if you do need additional time beyond the July 15th deadline, you do have to fill out one of those forms. And I believe that's form 8892. But if you go on the IRS website, and you should always consult with your CPA or accountant when filling out these forms. Another thing is the extension of state income filing in Michigan. In Michigan, the extension is also to July 15th, and for late filers is October 15th. And remember, if you're filing late, you still have to get that form filled out. So that's the taxes. So now comes the fun part, the investment part, if you're able to do this. There are low interest rates right now. They're extraordinarily low. And the required minimum federal interest rate for transfers is at an all-time low for April 2020. The short-term annual federal rate is 0.91%. The midterm annual rate is 0.99%, and the long-term annual rate is 1.44%. And this applies to the applicable federal rate for transfers between related parties. There's also benefits and exemptions from gift, estate, and generation skipping transfer exemptions. So, they're at an all-time high and are scheduled to decrease under existing law at the end of 2025. The current gift and estate and the generation skipping transfer tax exemption amounts are $11.58 million per individual. Low asset values. Asset values are low, and it makes an opportune time to make transfers such as gifts or leverage sales. There are also potentially a limited duration of gift of generation skipping transfer exempt trusts. So currently, gifts to these trusts can last for an unlimited number of generations, and this number can be limited in the future. So making transfers and taking advantage of the low interest rates and low asset values right now would be a really good idea to take advantage of this opportunity, because they may be limited in the future. But right now, they are unlimited, unlimited number of generations. This is also a really great time to make a transfer using a grantor retained annuity trust, and this provides for the transfer of assets to beneficiaries such as family members or a trust for their benefit at a reduced transfer tax cost. And the last thing, refinancing promissory notes. For people who have previously used a promissory note to transfer assets to beneficiaries or to a trust, now might be a good time to refinance it. There are really low interest rates right now, and refinancing is a simple way to increase the amount of transferred money to your beneficiaries without incurring additional transfer tax. So the takeaways here on estate planning tips that give you peace of mind in a COVID-19 economy is now is the time to take advantage of opportunities to save on transfer taxes. And 2 is that the tax filing deadlines are extended, interest rate and values are low, and exemptions from gift, estate, and generation skipping transfer tax are at an all-time high. If you are able and you can take advantage of these opportunities, I definitely recommend that you get with your CPA, with your financial planner, and get the ball rolling on this. I just want to know if there's any other questions. Thank you so much for sticking around. And next week, I can't wait to talk to you. I hope you're staying safe, and I hope you're well. And I believe we're having some snow right now, but this weekend is supposed to be really nice. So I hope you're able to get some fresh air. Talk to you next week.